My name is Kayleigh and welcome back to What the am I doing? This is a new series on my channel where I run a very poorly ranked Pokemon on PvPoke, try and build a team around it for Open Great League, and not have an aneurysm in the process. Today we're featuring Mightyena. This guy is ranked 379 on PvPoke, terrible attack, dismal defense, and charge moves that leave a lot to be desired. So let me just leave a disclaimer, do not run this guy. I'm seriously not recommending it. For a team to build around him, I went with Venusaur and Alolan Marowak. Venusaur has great coverage against water, rock, ground types, and is a hard wall to Azumarill and other fairies. Alolan Marowak is a great counter to Skarmory, the main flyer you're going to see, especially running Fire Spin, as I'm doing for my fast move. Skarmory is a big problem for Venusaur, so it's good to have a counter for him. Alolan Marowak also does great damage against all the psychic types you'll see running around with Shadow Ball, so things like Mew and Hypno, not a good day. He's a really reliable safe switch, and I wanted two Pokemon I could definitely count on, paired with Mightyena. For moveset on Mightyena, I went with Thunderfang as my fast move. I thought this would have some use for the water and flying types, and it did. Thunderfang was more useful than both of my charge moves put together. Poison Fang and Crunch are the best two moves on Mightyena, and that really says something, because they're terrible. Okay, without any further ado, let's see how this goes. Let's jump straight in with our first match with Mightyena. Now, Venusaur's going in, and we have Zebstrika picking up a positive lead straight away. Venusaur's grass typing resists all the electric type attacks from Zebstrika. Now I'm just going to keep firing Vine Whip, in the hope that I can sneak through an extra Vine Whip, which I can. We'll not be shielding this. It's Wild Charge, which despite being quite a hard-hitting move, does very little as it's resisted. We are farming up to 2 Frenzy Plants because I'm expecting they're going to shield. Sorry, they're not going to shield, meaning I want some charge for the next Pokemon to come in. It's a Golem. Now, Frenzy Plant will be hitting for double super effective because that is a rock and ground type Pokemon. This is shielded, which isn't ideal because I'm not going to reach another Frenzy Plant, and if you look at the rest of my team, not good for Golem. Fire Spinner was resisted, Thunderfang is resisted, but I go with Mightyena because at least the moves of the Golem are going to be hitting for neutral, whereas either rock or ground fast moves are going to hit super effective against Alolan Marowak. There's the Ancient Power, which we shield because Mightyena is my best option against this guy. So we want to shield him, try and keep him in there and try and take this guy out. I'm going for a Crunch because ground type resists poison, so we definitely don't want to be firing a poison move. Now we are shielding up against that Ancient Power again. Now shields are down. I've just got to try and reach a Poison Fang, but I get taken out just before I can get there. Now I come in with my Alolan Marowak, and thank goodness I can get that Pokemon out of the way before he fires an Ancient Power. And thankfully, the Rock, Paper, Scissors gods are in my favour because the last Pokemon in their team is a Bug type which is very weak to fire. So we're going to throw that Flame Wheel, and despite it not being the best move to put on Marowak, I mean seriously, I should have not used the Flame Wheel, but I did. That takes out the Beedrill because it's hitting for super effective damage. There we go, that is our first win. So, going back into the Great League, back in with Mightyena and looking for another opponent. And we found Vainvici, wearing a lot of cool Detective Pikachu stuff. I'm sorry about your name. This is definitely a lost lead, so we're swapping immediately into Alolan Marowak, which is a very hard counter. They swap into Crustle. Now, Fire is super effective against Bug, but resisted by Rock, so it ends up hitting for neutral. Their Rock type, there we go, their Rock type charge moves hit for super effective, but I know I can take one of them. I'm throwing Shadow Ball because both moves hit for neutral, both have stab, but Shadow Ball is the more energy efficient move to throw. Now there we go, we're getting another move coming in. This one I decide to shield because I want to get another move of my own off. And it's a Rock Blast. There was no Bug move bait, so it was definitely the right call there. That Rock Blast would have taken Marowak out. Now I'm throwing another Shadow Ball. I'd really like this to hit, but sadly it doesn't. And we are now probably going to have another move thrown at us. And I'm shielding because I want to try and get a move off on them too. We're in the 0 shields and we swapped straight in with Venusaur. When I said I wanted to get a move off, I meant off of Venusaur because I can take that Rock Blast a lot better on the Venusaur than I can on the Marowak. I can now go for the aggressive farm down, which gives me 1.5 Frenzy Plants. I've also got a move stored on Marowak too. Now they come in with their Pokemon and I'm immediately firing a Frenzy Plant at it, hitting all the bubbles 4 and excellent. Even though it's resisted, it does about 1/3 of their health and I was really hoping to get to another Frenzy, but I couldn't. In comes Ice Punch, which takes me out. But that's fine because I can come straight in with a Alolan Marowak. I didn't quite have a move stored, which I thought I did, but the farm down on that Alolan Sandslash gives me enough energy to fire a Flame Wheel at Skarmory. Super effective fire on Steel. Now this is where Mightyena, woohoo, comes into play. He's got Thunderfang as his fast move, super effective against a flying type Skarmory. I can take a Sky Attack, that still does half my health despite being neutral. There's a little bit of health left on that Sandslash, but one more Thunderfang and it is down. Now Mightyena did come in there, he did help me a little bit. I mean, if I'd have had a better Pokemon than Mightyena in the back, I'd have probably still managed to win that match, so I'm not going to say he was the deciding factor, but Thunderfang definitely had a use there. It definitely helped me taking out the Skarmory. Now into our third match, picking up a positive lead, Venusaur on Stunfisk. Look at him shake his little, don't know what it is, his little plant. Gosh, I love Venusaur, he's my favourite lettuce. Okay, Rock Slide is coming in. It's definitely a Rock Slide because they didn't charge to Earthquake. We're going to let that come straight through. We're going to keep farming a little bit and then fire our Frenzy Plant and not let a move of theirs through in the process. Trying to teach myself fast move denial. I'm kind of getting there. Sometimes I do it and sometimes I don't. And okay, we snuck another fast move through there, which is fantastic. Now we are going to commit a shield here as they committed a shield first. We're basically matching what they do here. So we've charged up to 1.5 Frenzy Plants and throwing another Frenzy Plant. This hits for fantastic damage, but sadly they managed to get their Rock Slide through. That said, I am not going to shield because I know I can take a Rock Slide. I'm very low, but I've got a Frenzy Plant that I'm going to immediately throw and into the best possible Pokemon to throw into, a Water type. This will either shield or basically KO. Now I'm going to throw in Mightyena because of course Thunderfang, super effective against water types. They come in with a grass type switch and I counter that with Marowak. Now I've been really lucky on this game. I won lead, that gave me the switch advantage, and with the way the alignment is in the back, this is not good for my opponent. It's not looking good, but that's purely based on alignment. If I'd lost lead and that water type had been locked in with a Alolan Marowak, I'd have lost this game hard. Now you'll notice I'm letting all these Leaf Tornadoes come through and I'm not throwing. The reason here is I want my Marowak on really low health when he comes into face that water type because I don't want him to get a ton of farm and have a load of charge moves ready to throw at Mightyena. So I'm throwing this Flame Wheel now, even though my attack's debuffed. Superior's in the red, so he's definitely down. One more charge move, fast move, and we're throwing a Shadow Ball. This will do a good chunk from Seeking and it will help Mightyena along. So now, because we stalled long enough against that Superior, our switch clock had run through and I could switch in Mightyena and deny that Seeking the farm. We throw one poison charge move and that is the game. Time for our fourth battle with Mightyena. Queuing, looking for an opponent. Anytime around about now would be nice, Niantic. There we go. Kayleigh077. Wearing a very summery outfit. Too cold in the UK for that right now. So we get a fairly neutral lead with Umbreon. Now Venusaur does win this matchup by a slither with about 2 HP left. And they swap into a Alolan Ninetales. Now, I presume they have Weather Ball, which is an ice type move, super effective against grass, which was their thinking behind this swap. But they're running Charm as their fast move, which is only hitting for neutral, and I'd already charged up to an entire Sludge Bomb against that Umbreon. So before they even know what's happened really, 2 Sludge Bombs have been fired, they shield one and let the other through. Now, I'm happy to lose switch advantage here and go in with my Alolan Marowak. I say lose switch advantage, They can't switch quite yet, but their clock will probably run out a little sooner than mine, so they might be able to switch something in to counter that Marowak before I can then switch back out again. But I'm hitting for such brilliant damage against Galvantula, chances are that Galv is going to be down before that happens. There we go. There's the switch in. Now, I'm not firing Shadow Ball because that is resisted by a Dark type. This is also not great because Dark is super effective against Ghost, but Marowak is so low at this point. Because I was letting some of those moves through from Galv, it doesn't really matter. We're just going to let him go down, and I'm going to come in with Mightyena. This is because his Dark type move is going to be resisted by my own Dark typing because Dark resists itself, but I have Poison Fang, which is going to hit for neutral. Now, they may of course have Last Resort, which will hit for neutral, but my fast move is also hitting for neutral, whereas their fast move is hitting for resisted damage. So, all in all, Mightyena can just about go toe-to-toe with Umbreon, despite being, in my opinion, a far weaker Pokemon. So that's interesting. Now, we've thrown our first Poison Fang, and we're throwing our second Poison Fang now. Going in with Poison Fang number 2, getting that Umbreon real low. Now, they throw another move, which I'm not going to shield, I'm just going to let this go through as it's hitting for resisted. There we go. Now, at this point, it is the fight of the fast moves. Who can get there first? And I do by a slither. That leaves me with that Poison Fang to throw at the Galvantula, and I imagine, despite it being a weak move, this will KO when it hits. Yep, because that Galv was so low anyway. And final battle with this team is against Israel's7-9 with the cool level 43 pose. So Venusaur is going in against Wigglytuff. This is a great wooden lead for me. Sludge Bomb will hit for super effective damage against the fairy typing. They're swapping into a Mandibuzz, and I'm immediately, well not quite immediately, building up a bit of energy first on that Venusaur, and then we switch into the Mightyena, which is running Thunderfang. Of course, that is super effective against the flying of Mandibuzz. All of Mandibuzz's moves are going to be resisted too. The Dark, the Shadow Ball, Aerial Ace isn't technically resisted, but it hits like it is because it's such a weak move. Foul Play is resisted too, so we're letting all those moves through. We're building up to 2 Poison Fangs because that's my only move of the 2 that isn't resisted. We'll throw 1 Poison Fang, which will not be enough because I have no attack and Mandibuzz is a tank. We'll throw another Poison Fang, and that should be enough to take down Mandibuzz. I'm in the yellow, but I've 1 switch advantage without investing any shields, so I'm really happy with that. It also means there's the minimum possible farm for that Wigglytuff. Now I'm bringing back in the Venusaur I farmed with earlier. I have 2 Sludge Bombs ready to go on this guy. The first one gets a shield, the second one we're firing now. Let's have a look. I would suspect they wouldn't shield this. Going 2 shields down on one Pokemon is a move. Yeah, they let that one through, and we've got Stunfisk in the back. Now, Venusaur on Stunfisk is a one matchup for Venusaur, but I have a lot less health than that Stunfisk. I do have a shield advantage, but I'm going to fire the Frenzy Plant, and then I have a Lola Marowak in the back. If I don't invest any shields with my Venusaur, that makes it a 2 shield matchup for Marowak versus no shields for Stunfisk. And in the 2 versus 0 shields, Marowak can take this matchup without too much trouble. We're going to shield that Rock Slide as it would hit for super effective. We're going to keep going, throwing our Fire Spins, and in we go with a Flame Wheel. As I said before, Flame Wheel, not the move to run. Go for Bone Club or go for Fire Blast. But I didn't realise just how bad of a move it was until I started running it. There we go, that is the 5th and final win with the mighty Mightyena. And that's everything for my battles with Mightyena. I just wanted to pause and thank all my new subscribers so much. We're nearly at 500, which is just absolutely crazy. It's insane. 500 people actually want to watch me talk about this stuff, so thank you so much. I will definitely be doing more episodes of what the was I thinking in the future, and I'll be considering suggestions too. So comment down below with some Pokemon you'd like to see me try and run. The only criteria is it's got to be so bad it makes me want to have a breakdown. If you like this video, please do give me a like. I will be posting PvP content a minimum of twice a week, every week for the foreseeable future. So if that sounds like your kind of thing, please do subscribe as well. I think that's everything. Oh yeah, Fight Club!